If this is your first time, you have really missed. If this is your first time, you have really missed. Yeah, if this is your first time, you can get all our content, the previous sessions on YouTube. I'll ask our team to put the YouTube link. I see guys are joining fast and furious. Yes, every serious entrepreneur is coming to this call. And today it's all about agricultural productivity. We are very privileged to host someone I've been following secretly and reading and listening to his thoughts. Guys, you are in for a treat. We are in for an amazing time. Great to see you guys. Great to see you guys. So put your name and business on chat. It's exactly 1 minute to 11. You guys have joined early. I'm really happy. That's how eager we are for this session. I'm really happy. So great to see you all. Brenda from Kenya, you reside in Western region. Yeah, I'm passionate about venturing into agribusiness. Yeah, so you're not a your background is human resources. Karibu sana. If you hear me say karibu, it means welcome in Swahili. It means welcome in Swahili. If you hear me say karibu, it basically means welcome in Swahili. Welcome in Swahili. So every time you guys, I forget for your own country. I forget. So in Chichewa, how do you say karibu? How do you say welcome? How do you say welcome in Chichewa? How do you say welcome in Shona in Zimbabwe? So please put on chat for me. I keep forgetting. How do you say it in Ethiopia? Please. Thank you so much. Christopher Kibiru, RD Industries, amazing processors of cold pressed, edible, and cosmetic oils. Amazing. Great to see you, Christopher. Thokozani, you're from South Africa. You work in insurance. You work in insurance. Great. IH Insurance. Great to see you guys. People from all over Africa are convening in this call, and we're going to have an amazing time. It's only 1 minute past 11, and people have joined fast and furious. So we typically give people some time, and we start about 5 past 10 past. So great to see you all. Put your name and business and chat where you're joining from. It is good for our speaker to see the kind of people in the audience. So put your name and business on chat. It's good for our speaker to see the kind of people in the audience. You're very welcome. Put your name, business, country on chat. Great to see you all. Great to see you all. Put your name, business, country on chat, and I'll give you a shout out. You can also put your Instagram page, Facebook, anything. This is a time I allow everyone to sell. We use this format. I don't use the webinar format so that we can see each other. We can interact. We can really, truly meet each other from across Africa. This is that platform where people meet across Africa. Great to see you all. Great to see you all. I know they are latecomers. That's why I give people time. It's 2 minutes past. They are latecomers. I know many people are joining. Great to see you all. Patience from Zimbabwe, tell me what you do. Please put your name and business on chat, and I will give you a shout out. Put your name, business on chat. Thank you all. Name and business on chat. Name, business, country on chat. Yeah, so Dennis from Kilifi, your agribusiness is one of our focus areas. So safalamfoundation.org. Great to see you. Tapiwa. Yeah, great to see you, Tapiwa, from the Small and Medium Enterprises Development Corporation in Zimbabwe. Team, please mute everyone. Please mute yourself. We allow this format so that we can also interact, but you have to mute yourself and mute your video. Yeah, so mute your sound and mute your video. Great to see you all. Tapiwa, great to see you. He's from the Small and Medium Enterprises Development Corporation in Zimbabwe. They support many SMEs across Zimbabwe. Great to see you, Tapiwa. Great to see you. Lindiwe, great to see you. Yeah, Lindiwe, great to see you. From Zimbabwe. We work together in Zimbabwe. Great to see you. Naomi, great to see you. You're the producers of Eden Packers, yeah, organic herbal teas and so forth. Great to see you all. Nelly, Netlag Enterprises, yeah, your shea bread butter processing company. Great to see you all. Lots of agri businesses. People are late. I see it's 3 minutes past, not so late. It's us who started on very early. Yeah, we started joining. It's only 3 minutes past, and a lot of you are already here. Great to see you all. put your name and business on chart. Yeah, Ade Adejeji, you're from Nigeria. You're a woman entrepreneur in the agricultural sector. You're a farmer and you're an exporter. Guys, put your website. If you're an SME in this call, you don't have a website, you don't have an Instagram page, you don't have Facebook, you must have any one of those, guys. You must. Yeah, how do you sell yourself? This is a Pan-African platform, and I encourage everyone to put your website, your Instagram, everything. So put your videos off. Elizabeth, put your video off, but put your name, business in the chat, guys. Yeah, so we have people from Nigeria, people from Ethiopia, we have people from Zimbabwe. Great to see you all. Esther Kimani. Yeah, so you're from Coffee Food. Great to see you. You're a consultant in compliance and market access. Great to see you, Esther. Put your name and business on chat. I will take a few more, maybe 2 more, as we wait for people to join. People are a little late. Put your name and business on chat, and we will take it away. Put your name and business on chat, and we will take it away. Put your name and business on chat and your country, and we will take it away. Name, business, country, as we wait for a few more people to join before we start. Put your name, business on chat. Okay. So Patience, you're from Zimbabwe. You're from Valley Honey. You're the producers of honey, Valley Honey. Great to see you. Great to see you, Patience, all the way from Zimbabwe. Kairat Bello, you're an agro consultant from Nigeria, and you're also a founder of Native Choice. Great to see you. Ruben Tamba, great to see you. You're CEO of Obima Logistics. Great to see you. Guys, you see, like Ruben has put his contacts and so forth. Great to see you all. Great to see you all. Great to see you all. Yeah, great to see you all. So at this point, what I want to do, as you put more of your businesses on chat, and as we wait for the last few people to join, a few more, I know many people are joining, we'll ask our team to play a video. In case you're wondering who we are the SME Support Center. We are based in Nairobi, but we work across Africa. We'll play a short video that tells you about what we do at the center. And then I'll take a few more shout outs. Then I'll invite the speaker of the day. So I'll ask our team to play the video, and then I'll take a few more shout outs. So put your name and business on chat as our team does that. Thank you.
Welcome to the SME Support Center, where micro, small, and medium enterprises get the big support they need. The SME Support Center is an aggregator of SMEs in Africa and a provider of various support services to the SMEs. Our services include financial institution services, funding fairs, SME business advisory, SME investment advisory, aggregated services such as insurance, logistics, and billboard partners, development programs consulting. Visit our website, register, and gain access to funding opportunities, tender opportunities, funding news, and trade events sent to your email. SSC Studio is your one-stop destination for your professional photography, videography, and social media branding services. If interested, visit our website, click on SSC Studio, and fill out the registration form. We have an access to market initiative called the SME Blue Pages, where we showcase manufacturing made in Africa brands. To register, select Add Listing and add the details.
Okay, thank you so much. If you're in agribusiness and you've not listed your company in the SME Blue Pages, it's basically just a platform for all Made in Africa brands, all of them. So please list it. I'll ask our team to put it on chat, the link for the Made in Africa brands. We want to aggregate all Made in Africa brands. It's not an e-commerce platform, so don't worry. It's a listing platform, and it optimizes your website. It optimizes your LinkedIn. Once you list there, you become so optimized. We have really worked on it and spent quite a bit on it. So please feel free to register your business. You must be a manufacturer, you must be a processor. There are 16 categories. There's food, there's furniture, literally anyone making a made in Africa product, not services, but made in Africa products. You can list in the blue pages. I'll ask our team to actually put it on chat, and then you can look at it. So I'll take a few more shout outs before I invite the speaker of the day. There is Gadi Banda, Clement Foods, great to see you from Malawi, great to see you. Zimbabwe, so many people from Zimbabwe. Zimbabwe company Pharmatic Consultants, great to see you. Nomanthazo, great to see you. Susie Mulindu from Field Processors, adding value to cereal millet flour. I presume you're from Nairobi, great to see you. Elizabeth, founder of A&A Network. You're a buyer of food produce from the farmer, and then you take to the market. So mostly cereals. Great to see you. Ade from Nigeria. Great to see you. Grace Nzo. Grace to see you. Great to see you. Newsline Media, and so forth. So guys, put your name and business on chat without wasting any more time. For the ones who are late, I know many more people are joining. So the ones who are late, they'll catch us as we move. Without wasting any more time, it's 10 past 11. I want to invite our speaker for the day, Mr. Ramesh Muchikal. I hope I said it well. Is it Muchikal or Mochikal? I want to invite you for today. He's the CEO of Africa Improved Foods. If you haven't read about them, please go to the website and read about them. If you haven't read about them, it's where I have been spending time reading about what they do. They're based in Rwanda, but what they have done is impressive. Is impressive. So I'll let Mr. Ramesh come in, introduce himself, and then take it away. So he'll be speaking to us for about 45 minutes, uninterrupted. So put your name, put your questions on chat as he speaks, and then we will have a robust Q&A session. I know you guys usually have a lot of questions. So Mr. Ramesh, karibu sana. Karibu is welcome. You're very welcome. And thank you for making time. I know you're extremely busy. Thank you. Truly, truly honored that you made time. Take it away.
Thank you, Linda. Good morning to all of you, and thank you for the invite to be here. I'm very glad that I can have a chance to interact with all of you. I know the dynamism of Africa largely lies in the hands of people like you who are developing small and medium enterprises. And we must do everything possible in our power to ensure that the pathway to success for the SMEs is opened up and the opportunities are thrown in front of you for all of you to seize it. There are challenges, and there are many, many challenges. And I think that during today's sessions, we'll have a chance to visit some of them. I have a few slides to share with you, and the slides are available to you thereafter. The issue is any questions you may have, please note it down, and I'm open to Q&A thereafter. If that's okay, shall we start?
Yes, please go ahead. Thank you.
Right. Linda, are you able to see this on full screen?
Yes, 100%. It's on full screen. Thank you. Thank you.
Very good. Excellent. All right. Okay. Here we go. Hmm. Hmm. Let me do it once again. Once again. Yeah, here we go. So what I'll try and do is, as a brief introduction, I've spent about 32 years in the food and agri space in Africa. 28 years out of that I've spent with a company called Olam International. Some of you may know it. I was the fifth employee of Olam, and then I spent 28 years with the company. And when I left, I was managing as the president of the South and East African business, covering 26 countries in this half of Africa. After that, I spent 3 years in Nigeria, helping a friend sort out a food processing business called TGI. And some of you in Nigeria might have heard of them, Wakot, Wasil, companies like that. I was the group CEO of that business. And now, over the last 2 years, I am with Africa Improved Foods. We have been set up as a social impact organization primarily to produce nutritive foods to help governments and the World Food Program and UNICEF and Red Cross battle malnutrition. So over the last 7 years that this company has been operative, the effect and the impact has been immense. We feed 1.6 million people today on a per day basis, 1.6 million people per day. All right. And that's primarily in partnership with the World Food Program, Government of Rwanda, Red Cross, CRS, and all such organizations. So we produce the food, we don't deliver the food to the last mile. The last mile is obviously the relief camps and so on, which are managed by the World Food Program and a variety of organizations. But the difference is that when we started in Rwanda, the stunting rates in Rwanda were 47%. I don't know how many of you know anything about stunting, but primarily stunting results in cognitive and learning deficiencies in children, and it's an irreversible damage if not addressed in the first 3 years. Therefore, the 1,000-day program, okay, in the first 3 years since conception, if the child is not properly fed with nutrients, the brain is irreversibly damaged, and that's what leads to stunting. Overall, a stunted economy implies a 16% damage on GDP. So that will help you understand numerically what it means in terms of impact. But President Kagame's call to our founder came at a time when Rwanda was struggling with 47% stunting, which means 1 in 2 children were stunted. By his bold and decisive action and partnership with us, today it's down to 31%. 31% is 1 in 3, so it's a significant improvement over the last 7 years, but still, there is a lot of work still to be done. And I'm going to take you through some of the opportunities that are there in the sector that we are all very familiar with. So my view is that the agricultural productivity is a very critical piece in the development for Africa, economically and socially both. And I'm going to tell you how that works. Now, the food import in Africa in 2021 to all the way to 2025 has been transformed. In my view, $110 billion worth of food import is unpardonable. Unpardonable in a continent that we proudly say has 60% of the world's cropland, has enough water, has enough labor, has enough unemployment to really take care of itself. Then to look at 110 billion is a criminal offense in my view. But look at the notable countries. The big 5 economies of Africa are also the large importers. So Egypt imports wheat, cereals, edible oils, and dairy. Algeria, somewhat similar. South Africa, very similar, surprisingly, but very similar. Morocco, and finally Nigeria. So between South Africa and Nigeria, out of the 110 billion, 12 billion is in these 2 countries alone, and the rest of them sort of divide it. But if you notice, the critical element that is common across is wheat. And the reason it is wheat is because wheat is not an indigenous crop to Africa. South Africa is the largest producer of wheat and still imports 50% of the wheat it consumes. Almost every other country apart from Zimbabwe in Africa imports wheat. That is because our colonial masters taught us to eat wheat. And wheat is only eaten in the bread form. In the food cycle, the poorest man on the continent eats tubers, yam, cassava, this, that, and the other. The second level eats maize, again in different forms across the continent. When you get a bit more prosperous, you start eating rice, because obviously rice is a lot more convenient than maize is in terms of cooking, storing. And of course, the pinnacle of it all is wheat converted into bread. Now, as a thumb rule, all of you know that what costs for 1 loaf of bread, you can buy 1 kilo of rice. 1 kilo of rice can feed a family of 4 for 2 meals. 1 loaf of bread, which is the equal cost of 1 kilo of rice, can feed one family for breakfast for 1 meal. So you can imagine the kind of cost differential we are talking about. Nevertheless, bread is an aspirational food. And across Africa, bread is eaten primarily really by the really wealthy. And all of that leads to import of wheat. For your information, wheat is the single largest import bill in the African 110 billion. $20 billion is spent on importing wheat. That's about 1/5 of the total import bill. The issue is, I'm showing you all of these as problem statements because in the problem lies our opportunity, and we'll talk about that in a minute. Now look at this. 33 million small scale farmers, smallholder farmers that all of you are very familiar with. Less than 1 hectare is what this 33 million smallholder farmers are controlling. And they've been working on it for generations. Sorry. But the number of people employed in agriculture is about 250 million. So the 33 million farmers who are actually working on the farm are supporting 250 million people who are employed in some way on the farm, which means 1 in 8. So for every one farmer, there are 8 people that are associated with him or her working in the farms. And that means with that kind of commitment of labor to farming, despite that, 58% people are still facing food insecurity. For me, this also is unpardonable. That level of population, 250 million people involved in agriculture, the population of Europe is working in farms in Africa. And despite that, more than 50% of Africans are facing food insecurity. And take a look at the numbers of what kind of population percentages faces moderate to severe food insecurity. So Asia is approximately half the number of Africa. African food insecurity is at a high 50s. So we are talking of almost 60% of Africans face food insecurity. Take a look at what the numbers for Asia and rest of the world looks like. Sorry. Now here is a trick. The triangle that used to form the African economies have now moved to a pear shape. And that's because we have 400 million people earning less than $2 a day and 700 million people earning less than $10 a day. So the total of 1.1 billion people earning less than $10 a day is a very, very large number that we're trying to support. And the ones that are earning less than $2 a day are primarily dependent on humanitarian support because they don't know where the next income is going to come from. And their affordability is so small that they really can't bank anything. The real action that we can look at happens in that 700 million people, primarily because it's a very large market that you can't ignore. Also because there is some level of affordability for basic life requirements that exist there. So there's an opportunity for small, medium enterprises to focus on that part of the triangle. If you go above that, the people who are earning between $10 to $70 a day can afford most supermarket products that we see in cities. The one above that, we don't even need to look at. So the real opportunity, the real bulk of the market of Africa is sitting in that 700 million people who are spending $1.3 trillion every year. So can you imagine that despite the fact that they are only earning between $2 to $10 a day, there is a significant amount of spending power that exists there. Again, an opportunity for SMEs to focus at. Now, going back to the food import bill that we spoke about a little while ago, and all of these are interrelated. Our trade deficit, which means import versus export, these are the numbers, about 40 billion. A continent as large as ours has a trade deficit in agriculture. That is unbelievable. The other challenge, which I think we should all be aware of, is that we talk, everybody talks, all the politicians talk about 60% of the world's arable land, this, that, and the other. But the fact is, by 2050, more than 50% of that arable land will be unusable because of degradation. And look at the crop productions, that numbers we have in Africa. Less than 100 million tons of maize. And I hope you all know that East Africa is the world's largest per capita consumer of maize. The world's largest, not Africa's largest, the world's largest. Despite that, we have significant importers of maize sitting in East Africa. Which means, for example, Kenya imports maize from Zambia. Kenya imports maize from a variety of other countries because of maize deficits. And that is not acceptable considering we are the world's largest consumers. And the wheat and the rice and the sorghum numbers are really small in terms of our production. But here is the interesting part. Look at the amount of import we do. Like I said earlier, almost 25 million tons of maize, 50 million tons of wheat. Palm oil, again, unpardonable. We have the weather conditions, we have the climatic conditions, we have the soil, we have the land availability, but we can't grow palm oil. We import it from Asia. Makes no sense. So, while I'm showing you all these challenges, do realize that your opportunity lies in these challenges. The $110 billion food bill, which is only increasing, is your opportunity. That $110 billion food bill was $36 billion in 2018. It has tripled in 8 years' time. One, the population increase. Two, prosperity increase. Three, the stage of the population, the average age of our population in Africa is the kind that consumes a lot of calories. Therefore, the food intake is only increasing. And of course, the huge protein shortage in Africa, which is another huge opportunity for all of us. So the food opportunity per se is large, and in the food, there are a variety of other operations directly related to food and otherwise related to ancillary units. So, for example, if you want to battle the protein deficit in Africa, you have to grow chicken. To grow chicken, you need chicken feed. So, to produce that poultry feed, there is a whole industry that has to be set up. To have the ingredients of poultry feed, you need to have oil seed cakes, you need to have grains, you need to have proteins and vitamins. That's another industry. Those are all the opportunities that are coming up because if Africa needs to get food secure, all of this needs to be put in place. That's why I said right at the beginning, our single largest opportunity is in making Africa food secure. But for that, we need investment. What kind of investment are we talking? That's African agricultural food business could be $1 trillion by 2030. But to achieve that potential and to make it come good, what we need is the storage facilities need an upgradation and a complete transformation that will cost $8 billion. Irrigation will cost $65 billion. Fertilizer will cost 8 times what we are using today. So let me give you some numbers here that will put things in perspective. Only less than 10% of African agriculture is irrigated. That's a huge opportunity that is waiting to be harvested. 90% of African agriculture is dependent on the hand of God, which means rainwater. How can you afford and look for yields, look for productivity if you don't have water supplies under control? You know, the big risk for a lot of countries, especially Asia, on one side you can have drought, on the other side you can have floods. To manage that risk, you need irrigation facilities that A, dams the water, therefore does not let the flood affect you, and provides for water on the need to use basis. So you don't waste water. Because in the end, you all know that a significant amount of fresh water on earth is deployed in agriculture. Therefore, we have to be careful about how we use that fresh water. The second thing you need to know, and I'll show you a chart on that just now, is how we in Africa are approximately 10% of Asia in fertilizer utilization. And therefore, that shows in our yields. They get 9 tons per hectare of rice. We get 2 tons per hectare of rice. So that's the difference. Productivity is straight away a directly correlated factor is fertilizer. So this is the kind of capital commitment we are talking about to make agriculture move up to that 1 trillion mark. Now, just imagine this from 2023 to 2030, within 7 years, if the total top line of agriculture on the continent is multiplied 4 times, the kind of opportunity it opens up to the small and medium enterprises. That's where your big opportunity is because food is an imperative. Growing of food is an imperative. And there's already a large commitment of people and capital that's involved in agriculture. So there are multiple opportunities opening up in food, food processing, and food growth. So what do we need? We need infrastructure for storage, irrigation, mechanization, etc. Of course, we need inputs. And take a look at the utilization of inorganic fertilizer. Inorganic fertilizer, as you can understand, implies chemical uses. So absorb these numbers for a bit and see the kind of contrast that exists between Africa at less than 20 kilos per hectare, all the way to Asia, which is at 180 kilos per hectare. So like I said, we are talking of 9 times the utilization in Asia, which is the world's most efficient farming system. One more thing you might like to realize is that in terms of your yield potential, productivity potential in farming, Africa is operating at 24% of its productivity utilization, while Asia is operating at 80% of its productivity. So there are two ways we can look at it. One is we can complain how badly off Africa is. But on the other hand, the upside to grow our productivity is the highest in Africa because we are operating at such a low level of potential. So we can enhance what we extract from that potential much more in Africa than we can in any other market. That's our opportunity. And of course, climate resilience. And that requires significant amount of private sector commitment. There is a commitment made by the African Development Bank, but that is still far from what is really necessary, as I showed you in the previous slide. Take a look at this slide. It tells you what kind of reliance does the world have on inorganic fertilizers. As you can imagine, a large part of the world's food consumption that uses inorganic fertilizer is in the West. But if you notice here, come to the part 2015 on the right side corner. World population just about 7.5 billion, which is approximately close to the time where we are now at 8 billion. But the population that consumes food produced by inorganic fertilizer and the world population that consumes food produced by inorganic fertilizer is almost an even break. So all of us in Africa that largely rely on food that is locally produced by organic fertilizer and some other parts of the developing world that do not use enough fertilizer, right, are almost equal to the part of the world that uses food that uses inorganic fertilizer. Which also means that if tomorrow chemicals and other fertilizers are banned, it's not us that will suffer. It is the consuming world in the West that will suffer because they are primarily dependent on food that is produced by inorganic fertilizer. So what will work? One, we think that each player in the equation has a large part to play in building this opportunity up. The private sector for sustainable food production and to ensure that food sovereignty is maintained is a very critical piece. The public sector's role is to ensure policies and financing and enabling infrastructure because that's a more permanent commitment to the country. And of course, significant amount of modernization is necessary where both have a role to play, whether it's technology, whether it's farming models. One more look at cereal production. Now, all of you must have heard enough noise about productivity and the African productivity. Let me tell you one truth which most of us don't recognize. Take a look at the graph on the left side of your sheet. The land used for cereal production has changed marginally over the last 60 years. I'm talking of 60 years, 1961 to 2023. Okay. Population in the meantime has increased 2.5 times, 2.6 times actually. That blue color stick that's almost straight and growing. Cereal yields have gone up 3.1 times, which means yields have been tripled over the last 60 years, much more than the population growth. And as a result of a little bit more extra land coming into farming, plus the growth in the yields, the total production of cereal has increased 3.5 times. So if somebody is telling you that yields are not going up, nobody's doing nothing, don't believe that story. Here is the truth. The issue though is, come to the right side screen. Now the yield increases have been broken down region-wise. Take a look at where we sit. Africa at the bottom of the pile is under 2 tons per hectare and almost a straight line. That is the tragedy. Rest of the world may be somewhat flat in some parts of the world, but at least the productivity is on a very, very high scale. I have outlined in quite detail what the challenges are, what the problems are, what the landscape is. So, all of us are quite familiar with all of this because we have heard of it a couple of times. I just gave you some numbers to underwrite some of the real issues. The question really is that what is the best strategy? What is the way ahead? And my view is that we have to learn to start eating what we produce. That also means we need to invest in local production and we need to ensure that we process what we produce. And I will underwrite my declaration just now. How do you start, first of all, producing more of what you can produce? So, my belief is that there has to be a marriage between a corporate and a small scale farmer. Both cannot work independently. And for sure, the solution of farming and agricultural productivity in Africa, in the heart of that lies the small scale farmer. There is no solution without a small scale farmer, is my view. And that then brings me to the model that I think works the best. So you need a well resourced corporate style nucleus farm that supports small scale farmers. And how does that work? So you talk of a commercial farm in the heart of it all. So, for example, I'll give you in Zambia, around 13 years ago, we approached the government for a coffee farm that they had. I'm not talking of Africa Improved Foods, I'm talking of my experience from the past. We approached the government to say that you have a coffee farm that you've not been using for the last 25 years. We'd like to take that over and rebuild it. So there was about 2,000 hectares of nucleus farm. We had to spend 70, $80 million to refurbish that farm, rebuild it, build a dam, do all the agriculture all over again from scratch, clean it up and start from scratch. Around that, around 6,000 hectares actually. So triple the land that we had in the nucleus farm. We had small scale farmers growing coffee in a rather disorganized manner. So one, we engaged with them. We explained to the communities that by our nucleus farm coming there, we will be able to support you. And but to support you implies we give them seed, we give them input, we give them good agricultural practices, and we guarantee a buyback. More importantly, all the right practices that happens in the nucleus farm is available for them to take out. And we were doing demonstrations for them to learn to become better coffee farmers. What did it do for the nucleus farm? It ensured that outside the nucleus farm, there was triple the area of farmers growing coffee to sell back into the nucleus farm. What did it do for the small scale farmers? It gave them the guarantee that there is a buyer. It gave them the support that they needed for the seeds and the inputs. It gave them the financing requirements that they had to meet. And most importantly, it gave them a commitment that for the next couple of years, their income is secured. Okay. So that kind of a partnership, in my view, is the only way in which the small scale farmer can be employed, food security can be achieved, and corporates can succeed profitably. This is how the partnership works. And of course, there are other parties in this who have a role to play. So the higher yields and the market access comes because the corporate player who runs the nucleus farm knows what to do. So how does it all help? Small scale farmers get engaged. Most important for me is scaled agricultural output without additional land because we are all land short. Like I keep saying, that man is producing babies, but God is not producing land. So you have no choice but to work with more. So how will this work? Industrial farmers need to be attracted, that is corporate scale, to bring good practices, to bring technology, to bring capital, to bring skill so that the nucleus farm can be established. The government has to ensure that there are enough policies to ensure that strong partnerships with small scale farmers are formed and regulations are to be adhered by, which ensures there's a fair distribution of the profit and the work. Lastly, very important, to ensure accountability. The corporate partner has to ensure that enough is done for the communities. For example, what we did was we set up a school, we set up a creche, we set up water facilities because the farmers had to have a basic quality of life. and what will definitely not work. I do not believe that mass industrialization of farming in Africa is a solution. And there have been enough trials and failures to prove my point. You all must be aware of how in 2007-8, there was The Economist had a headline, a cover page of the land grab of Africa. And South Korea had about 1 million hectares of land under its control through licenses with governments. In the end, not a grain has grown on that 1 million hectares. 1 million hectares is a lot of land. Not one grain has grown because getting land in Africa is not difficult. But converting that into crop is really where the money is. So policies with no accountability does not support the small scale farmer is a no-win is my view. So what are our opportunities? Again, for all of you to participate in, we need climate resistant crops. One, because a lot of the areas where we will do planting in Africa going forward are untenanted. We don't know what happens there, what kind of uh, parasites, what kind of birds, what kind of bugs. We have no idea. So we need resistant seed. There is an immense opportunity over there. Mechanization is an opportunity. The mechanization opportunity is not just for manufacturers of mechanization. It's also for service providers of mechanization, people who can repair and maintain, people who can deliver, people who can set up a little hub like an Uber tractor. There are enough opportunities like that. And then the biggest opportunity, in my view, is value addition. What you do with the crop that comes out of the soil. There's a large SME opportunity there, and I will give you an example. Long ago, we used to run the world's largest cashew processing plant in Matwara in Tanzania. And in due course, because it was a very large plant employing over 7,000 people under one roof, 90% of them were women. Okay, because it's a very hand oriented operation. We spoke to the government and then we arranged for 5 SMEs to take on some of the jobs that were being done in the factory. So the 5 SMEs were employing, in my view, between 300 to 400 people each. And they were hived off to do some part of the operation. Eventually, their presentation was done, etc., etc. But the fact is, 5 Tanzanian SMEs were then actively operating in processing cashew, apart from what was actually happening in the hub in the main factory. So the hub factory reduced the number of people, but skilled people began to move to those SMEs, and the SMEs were then enhanced significantly. They also learned a new trade. So why is value addition so critical that I've spoken about it for so much? Now, here is a fact for you. 1.3 billion metric tons of food is not a joke. I talked earlier about yield. What I need to talk about now is wastage. Globally, about 30% of the food we produce is wasted. Okay? When we waste food, we just don't waste food. We waste a lot of resources that have gone into making that food, like fresh water, like soil, like clean air. Because you know that farming produces GHG gases. Now, if you waste that food, whatever your resources you've taken from earth is irreplaceably lost. And what is worse is that 50% of what we produce in Africa is wasted. Do you realize what kind of an opportunity saving wastage is in agricultural produce? Primarily because post-harvest treatment of what is produced in our farms does not ever reach the market. So we need to not alter, but transform the farmer's handling of crops post-harvest and ensure that if that wastage comes down from 50% to 40, 40 to 30, you realize the kind of opportunity release we give. So there's a large opportunity for SMEs to participate in that part of the value chain as well. So $4 billion is the cost of that loss. Obviously, it reduces the farmer's income and make his yields pathetic. Local processing, which takes care of the crop immediately after post-harvest, is one very good step to ensure you arrest wastage, because then all the crop enters the factory. In the factory, you have reasonably more sensible facilities to handle and manage. And I'll give you an example of that in what we do in Rwanda. When we started our factory in Rwanda, we realized that 99% of the crop that came to us from maize were all aflatoxin ridden. So we could not use it. So we were rejecting the crops. But we realized that this cannot carry on. We had to help the farmer build a raw material that was aflatoxin free. So what did we do? We began to buy the maize on the cob. And we took the maize on the cob into our drying centers, which were reasonably factory conditions for heat and humidity. We detached the corn cob from the cob in the factory conditions so that the buildup of aflatoxin was arrested under those circumstances. And then we dried the cob and took it to our main factory where it was tested. Today, 98% of the maize that comes to our factory is accepted for no aflatoxin. Can you believe that? One, the ease of doing business for us has changed because of what we did for the farmers. Two, the value creation for the farmer, because from 99% rejection to 98% acceptance, can you imagine the kind of value that's created for the farmer? And of course, we pay a premium for the better quality that they deliver. Third, with this kind of quality processes in place and their good understanding of these practices, the farmer can boldly grow as much maize as he wants because he knows there is a buyer. So, University of Chicago has done a calculation and come to the conclusion that these activities that we have undertaken in Rwanda have added $1 billion to the GDP of Rwanda. For a country like Rwanda with 14 billion GDP, 1 billion addition is a lot. So that is the kind of transformation that can be achieved. And all because we are Rwanda's largest grain buyers. So it can mitigate their losses, it creates jobs, it strengthens economies, and of course, it enhances food security because farmers grow more. Now, we all talk of food security. Nobody talks of nutritional security. I spoke of stunting earlier. I need to come back to that to just throw some light as to what are the opportunities here. Take a look at these numbers. It'll take you some time to absorb it, but take your time. 20% of our population is undernourished. 55 million children are struggling with undernourishment. Food insecurity severe is 150 million. These are all very, very big numbers. The economic impact of stunting is 16%. And the biggest challenge for us is that we all proudly talk of the great demographic dividend because of our young population. We will soon have the world's largest workforce. The problem is by 2050, when we are 40% of the world's working population, and that's not a small number, 40% of the world's workforce will be African. But if 1/3 of them are stunted, what is the point? So there is a serious need for us to fortify our foods and ensure that nourishment reaches the stomachs of our children, not just carbohydrates. This, I think, is a fact that all of us should recognize that poverty amplifies the risk of and the risk from malnutrition. So we need to attack that poverty to ensure that nutrition is addressed. Now, all of us have been in Africa long enough to recognize that whichever way you look at it and whichever leader you speak to, they may say so in different words. But in the end, these are the four big challenges that we need to address in Africa immediately. Food security is logical, employment, import substitution, and upskilling. And the truth of the matter is, agriculture addresses all four. And I'm coming to that in a minute. So, to achieve Africa's priority, if we go through that model that I recommended of nucleus farming and adding value, you create employment, you create import substitution because you generate food that you're otherwise importing, you create food security as a result of all of this, and of course, you are equipping farmers with better technology, better techniques to get better at what they do. Therefore, you're upskilling. So all the four challenges are taken care of if we do the right thing of nucleus farming and value addition. So after all of this, I'd like to take you through a little case of the company that I manage in Rwanda, which primarily addresses malnutrition. So the second step after food security is nutritional security. And what we are doing is equipping governments to be able to battle that. So what do we do as an impact? We are educating and supporting 90,000 small-scale farmers spread over 200 cooperatives. We are processing 65,000 tons of raw material and producing fortified blended foods. In the bargain, we are also upskilling people to work in these factories. Direct impact on health, like I talked about earlier, 33% of stunting has been reduced in Rwanda because of our intervention in partnership with the government of Rwanda. And we are feeding 1.6 million people per day. And lastly, economic impact. I talked about $1 billion impact on the GDP on account of all that we are doing in Rwanda. So what we have put together is the best-in-class infrastructure, and we are partnering with the local government and international public and private institutions as an example of a perfect PPP. So these are all the steps of impact that we create. In the bargain, a high-quality ecosystem that is stable, supportive, and profitable. And of course, each part of the value chain, we are adding value. So our partnership with the government of Rwanda, our partnership with a large Dutch private sector organization that brings excellence in a variety of skills, investments from development partners like IFC and FMO, brings together Africa Improved Foods, which is a perfect example of a PPP. There are very few examples of PPP that function in Africa. And this is one such successful one that has a proven track record of execution and impact both. So, we believe our path to nutritional security starts by investing in smallholder farmers. And we have shown you how we have done that in Africa Improved Foods and how the opportunity has been seized and how so many people are fed, so many people are employed, so many people are upskilled. And that's, in our view, demonstration of a right agricultural model. And that completes what I have to say. I'm happy to hear any comments, thoughts, ideas, perceptions, questions you may have.
Wow, very interesting. As you were going through, I was saying I have to listen to it again. There's so much you've shared, Ramesh. There's so much data, guys. So much. So put your questions on chat. I know you guys usually have a lot of questions. I'll start as you guys put. Very interesting. I really loved the nucleus farming. Guys, in case you didn't get it, maybe we can go back there to the nucleus farm. Does it work in all sectors? Or maybe you can, does it work in all agricultural sectors? Like, or there are those where maybe you can re-explain the whole for the ones who really didn't get it. It's really interesting.
Okay. Right. So it is the policymakers' responsibility to bring large-scale corporate farmers into Africa, get them to set up a nucleus farm. Now, remember, the nucleus farm can be of differing sizes depending on which crop you do. So, cocoa and coffee, for example, is a very expensive crop to set up. And this is now long-term patient capital. Like I said, the 2,000 hectare farm can cost up to 65 to 80 million dollars. All right.
Yes.
So you put up
Yes.
65 to 80 million dollars, you have to wait 5-6 years for the first crop to come. But around the nucleus farm, you engage about double the number of small scale farmers over double the amount of land that is used in the nucleus farm, so that small scale farmers are in partnership with a significant corporate commitment. Number two, all the facilities of the nucleus farm is then made available to the small scale farmer. The small scale farmer knows that whatever they grow, there is a market waiting to take it up in the nucleus farm. And very importantly, there are demonstration farms for the small scale farmers that the nucleus farm owner sets up so that they learn the best practices. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a win-win solution. The
Mm-hmm.
government wins because the overall production of the crop in the country goes up.
Mm-hmm.
The small scale farmer wins because their productivity goes up and they have a committed market.
Sure.
And the guy who sets up the nucleus farm wins because while he commits himself to, let's say, 2,000 hectares in this particular case, he has access to coffee from 6,000 hectares because there are 4,000 hectares that are going around that small scale
Yes.
farmers are working on.
Sure.
So it's a perfect win win solution.
Wow. So my question is, let's say in the example of coffee, these small scale farmers, other than so the nucleus farm is the one that will be in charge of markets, everything. So this small scale farm, so it has markets, so it doesn't necessarily, it's not contract farming. You don't have to give them seeds and all that. It's just you're just leveraging on the knowledge from the nucleus farm, if I get it right.
No. So you can call it what you want. There are a variety of, they
Yes.
call it extension farming, they call it
Mhm.
contract farming, they call it
Contra
all kinds of
farming,
things.
yes. Yes.
The fact of the matter is, the guy who owns the nucleus farm, he wants the small scale farmers to succeed. So he
Mm-hmm.
gives them access to his seed. He gives them access to fertilizer and inputs. He gives them
Mm-hmm.
access to good agricultural practices. He even gives them access to the dam water that he's got sitting with him. Okay, the
Got
idea
it.
being the more the small scale farmer produces, the more the nucleus farm owner gets. So it's in his interest to help the small
Mm-hmm.
scale farmer succeed.
Got it. Got it. Yeah. 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 And you're rightly said to set up your whole, not everyone, I liked your statement. Not everyone can be a large scale farmer. I really liked what you
Correct.
said. You said you don't believe that the way is everyone becoming a large scale farmer because the
Hmm.
investment, like you said, $65 million is a huge investment. Very
Yeah.
interesting. Guys, I hope you guys are understanding. If you don't understand, clarify. It's not every day you'll get Ramesh on the call. So please clarify. Please clarify. So someone is asking, will the recording video be shared? Guys, we will put it. We have this in our YouTube channel. You can go back and watch. I will definitely watch it again. Please go back and watch. It's going to be in our YouTube channel. So our team will put the link for our YouTube. So we don't share the slides, but it's in the YouTube channel. So guys, please put that. Um, Karen is saying, I'm interested to understand if there are any type of upcycling of the maize cobs that you do after shelling it off from the cobs. If yes, what is the byproduct from this process?
So the cob, that is the center of the corn that we buy off, right?
Yeah,
Basically, it
yeah.
goes into, yeah, it goes into the boiler. It is just fuel thereafter. It has got no other utilization. So the fact
Ah,
is, we are paying the farmer for a much greater weight of the cob. All right. But we believe that the trade-off of the quality that we can generate. I mean, where in Africa, please show me some examples. Where in Africa can you buy 65,000 tons of maize aflatoxin free? You cannot.
wow.
We are
Wow.
able to do that. And that's because we are
Wow.
making the sacrifice. So there is value for us and there is value for the farmer. We are paying the farmer a significantly higher price for the aflatoxin free maize. And you must
Wow.
understand that there are other buyers in Rwanda who don't want aflatoxin free maize. So they're not paying the
Mm-hmm.
same price. And that is okay. That's for them. We are doing
Mm-hmm.
what is good for us.
Mm-hmm. So in the case of African Improved Foods, do you have your own farm or you're just primarily on the smallholder farmers?
We are just working with small scale farmers. Farming is not our
Or
core
core
business. Our
business?
core business is in
Uh,
the factory. We work
sure.
with small scale farmers to help them.
Yeah, very interesting. And I like that you say there's some statistic you gave. You moved them from 99% uh,
Yes,
upload,
99%
upload of
rejection. Yes,
rejection to 98%.
acceptance.
That's how did you do that? Like in detail? Because you can't really control smallholder farmers, and that's been a challenge for many processors.
I
What
think
are
that's an
some of the
excuse.
steps?
I think
You
that's
think
an
that
excuse.
yes,
Yeah,
if
that's
you
an excuse.
so how did you guys
In,
do it?
so
Yeah.
in so there are, I'll give you two big examples. Africa Improved
Yeah.
Foods. We work with 90,000 small scale farmers. I spoke of this in my presentation that we
Mm,
buy the corn on the cob
mm,
and we take it to our drying centers where we detach the
mm,
corn in the factory conditions under the right temperature conditions and humidity conditions. So
mm,
we don't allow for the aflatoxin to build up. once the
Mm-hmm.
corn is detached from the cob. And
Mm-hmm.
then we dry the corn in those
Mm-hmm.
conditions, then take it to our factory. Now, these are not space conditions. Please understand, these are rather basic drying centers. It's not a big deal. Anybody can put it
Mm-hmm.
up.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. But nobody was doing it.
Mm-hmm.
All right. That's
Yeah.
one part for you. The second
Mm-hmm.
part, as an example of how small scale farmers can be managed and controlled, in the company I used to work for earlier, at any point in time, we had between 170 to 180 million dollars with more than 4 million farmers at any point in time.
Wow.
Okay. No
Wow.
bank, no government, no small scale, nobody is giving that kind of money. No ABSA bank and no Standard Bank is giving that kind of money. It is Olam's money that was going into the farms.
Wow.
So if somebody tells me small scale farmers are impossible, can't be worked with, I do not believe that story. I've seen it being worked for 30 years. With the right kind of commitment, with the right kind of plan, with the right kind of people, it can be done. So don't
Wow.
come and tell me small scale farmers cannot be controlled, they're indisciplined. I don't believe that story at all. These are all excuses.
Wow. Guys, I hope you're hearing. Christopher is asking organic and inorganic fertilizers. There seems to be a significant move against the inorganic. Which kind of farming is to be which kind of farming is to be the difference between yeah, so basically speak about organic and inorganic in terms of trend fertilizers, and whether is it possible to actually have large scale farming or without, or sustainable farming using just organic fertilizers. It's a question many people are saying, but please
Yeah.
comment. Yeah.
On the short term, inorganic fertilizer is very valuable because it immediately enhances yield. So that's an easy,
Mhm.
solution for all of us to take.
Yeah.
But there is such a large scope for organic fertilizer in Africa, especially around farm waste. There is so
Mhm.
much farm waste that we can convert into organic fertilizer. And there are
Mhm.
enough companies that are now working on that in Africa to collect the farm waste and
Yeah.
convert them to organic manure.
Mhm.
Okay. I
Mhm.
mean, we do this each of our homes, right? We dig a little pit and we put
Yes.
all our food waste and we put
Compost.
all our
Yes.
plant waste. Yes.
Mhm.
And we put that to our rose gardens. Something similar at scale is being done industrially across Africa.
Mhm.
Okay.
Mhm.
So
Mhm.
when that trend picks up, I think Africa will be the leading power in organic fertilizer. One more
Oh.
point for you. There is a plant that is grown across India for centuries called
Mhm.
neem, Neem.
Yeah, yeah, I know.
It has got
Mhm.
a fruit that is highly bitter. It has got
Mhm.
leaves that are, when they're crushed and mixed with water and sprayed, it keeps weeds out, it keeps insects out.
Mhm.
That's a good example of organic fertilizer as well as organic insecticide. No
Mhm.
chemicals there, completely green. So those are all measures that we can adopt rather than abusing our soil. The West is
Mhm.
completely finished because their soil is totally abused.
Mhm. 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 Very interesting. Pianto Olemosian is asking, what is the projections for honey consumption in Africa?
I have no
Yeah,
idea.
idea. Asking because
I
I
have no
run a
idea.
startup focus here. So Piranto, you can just ask AI and ChatGTP. I think you should get the
Correct.
consumption rates. Yeah, yeah, you can get Thank you, but it's a good question. Esther is asking, nuclear farm and outgrowers are common in horticulture industry in Kenya. Thanks, Esther. Thanks, Esther, for that comment. That is asking the elephant at the room at the moment is the way this farming project are this being funded. It could be built better. If there was an institution like investment banks who should be able to fund these processing plans, support local rural farmers, and so forth. So speak about funding. I think her whole question is
Uh,
pretty much
Yeah, it
there's
is.
no funding for these kinds of things.
We are fooling ourselves if we believe that commercial farms and investment banks will come and invest in agriculture and food processing. It will not happen. Okay,
Oh.
because this is long patient capital. And I have
Mhm.
had enough conversations with heads of banks in Africa, including
Mhm.
recently on the 2nd of July. I met
Mhm.
the head of ABSA Bank. Yeah. And she and I have an old relationship where I've told her always that it is so easy for banks to sit in the big cities in Africa and make risk free money. Why would they come to the small farms and give money to small scale farmers where they have no capacity to control and they have no understanding of agriculture? So we should stop fooling ourselves. That money is not going to come from there. There are three
Mhm.
sources through which this money can come. One, is if we bring industrial farmers to the system. Okay. So industrial
Mm-hmm.
farmers must come with their own capital, their own technology, exactly like the example I gave you of the coffee farm in Zambia.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Where they bring their money from is their problem because they're able to borrow on a corporate basis from large scale funders, which includes banks, but then they know how to manage that. That's a corporate borrowing. It's not farming borrowing, it's not agricultural funding. Okay. So we need to attract those kind of people to come and invest. And
Mm-hmm.
when they come and invest, that's why I talked so many times about the nucleus farm and the outgrower program around that.
Mm-hmm.
Because the guy who runs a nucleus farm does not require money from African banks. He brings his own money. And
Mm-hmm.
then he's able to fund these small scale farmers through his
Mm-hmm.
own money because he is
Mm-hmm.
funding these farmers primarily to grow more coffee so that he can buy back more coffee. This is
Sure.
his business capital. His working
Sure.
capital is what he's using. Okay.
Yeah.
And when he
Yeah.
uses working capital for the farmers, it is with farmers who already have coffee plants. So
Mm-hmm.
annually he's rotating his money. He's not putting in
Mm-hmm.
money for 6 years with the small scale farmer.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Now that is the kind of funding that can truly help us. Either that,
Mm-hmm.
okay, or private capital, African capital. So, for example, you have let's say you have an Angolan billionaire sitting in Luanda.
Yes.
If you can enlist his help to start farms in other parts of Angola to feed Angola,
Mm-hmm.
that's a proposal that can fly.
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
Mm-hmm.
getting a
Mm-hmm.
bank in Luanda to come and put up money in agriculture or agricultural processing in any part of Angola is impossible. They will not
Mm-hmm.
do it because they're sitting in the big city and making a lot of money. Their profile is to be risk free.
Wow. That's true. Wow.
Okay. The third is agricultural banks like Rabobank. Have you all heard of
Yeah.
Rabobank? It's the world's largest
Yeah.
agricultural bank.
Yeah.
Those are the kind of guys you can partner with and
Mm-hmm.
get money for agricultural projects. Don't go to
Mm-hmm.
commercial banks, don't go to investment banks. They will not give you a dime. This is not
Wow.
their profile.
Wow. Powerful. Guys, I hope you're listening, eh? Amazing, amazing, amazing. Esther is asking, is there a law that protects you to ensure the farmers you have assisted supply maize to you and don't sell it elsewhere? How do you protect yourself?
Um, Everybody in the world who has worked with small scale farmers has learned that there is no law anywhere in the world that can
Mm,
act against small scale farmers. And there are two
sure.
reasons for that. One, the entity is below the radar of the law. They don't exist. Most of them don't have ID papers, don't have passports, have nothing. What legal
Mm-hmm.
action will you take against them? Number
Mm-hmm.
two, they're a very large vote bank for the government. Sorry. They're a very large vote bank for the government. The government will not permit to take any action against them. The
Mm-hmm.
only way to win small scale farmers, in my
Mm-hmm.
experience, is
Mm-hmm.
to ensure they understand that what you have created is what I call a mutual value creation model.
Mm-hmm.
I create value for you by increasing your yield, by making you more productive, by helping you use your land better.
Mm-hmm.
And I profit because you will be able to give me more product. And I'm here for more product.
Mm-hmm.
So we have a partnership where you
Mm-hmm.
win and I win.
Sure.
Only
Sure.
then will the small scale farmer remain committed to you.
Mm-hmm.
I talked of the 4 million farmers that Olam works with in a variety of crops, 21 different crops across
Mm-hmm.
28 different countries, but $180 million in advances sitting with them.
Mm-hmm.
What is the basis of that? The basis is
Yeah.
the partnership. Because the small scale farmer understands these guys need us. And Olam knows that the small scale farmer needs them. And
Mm-hmm.
for the small scale farmer, he's sitting in his village, he's producing his shea nut or cocoa or coffee or cashew or sesame or cotton,
Mm-hmm.
knowing that whatever happens when I produce, Olam will come and buy it from me.
Mm-hmm.
In
Mm-hmm.
Rwanda, they know that whatever happens, Africa Improved Foods will buy it from me. So let me
Mm-hmm.
produce and give it to them. And if I produce better quality, I get better price. So it's a good, valuable sense proposition.
Wow. And in terms of pricing, I know there's a value in terms of quantity. In terms of pricing, are you competing with the traders? Is yours, do you give more value in terms of pricing?
So we are not competing with anybody because we are setting the benchmark.
Yes.
We are a value adding processor.
Of
Okay. I
course.
have much more play than a trader has. I can outdo a trader any day.
Huh.
because I have more value. I'm creating value. That's why value addition is such an important piece in the whole formula.
Uh-huh.
The moment I
Uh-huh.
add value, I'm
Yes.
creating more value for myself. I can pass down more value.
You can pass on more value to the farmers. That's
Yes,
what I'm asking. So
yes.
you're indeed giving them more value in terms of pricing.
We pay more than the government specified price any day.
Okay. Wow. Interesting, interesting. Guys, I see Ade has her. Ade, please hold. You can put your question on chat. Ade, please put it on chat. Pauline is asking, are there contract farming opportunities for small scale farmers? Pauline, great to see you. She's in the dried food industry. Do you mean, Pauline, do you mean in Kenya or do you mean in Rwanda? Are there contract or generally speak about any opportunities you know for contract farming for small scale farmers?
Are you asking me or asking her?
I'm asking you, yes.
Oh,
Are there
okay.
contract farming opportunities for small scale farmers? Small scale
Yes,
farmers, sorry.
yes, yes, yes. And um, if you're a big buyer or a big processor, right? If there are large land tracts that farmers have, many times it is better to do contract farming with them. So we don't do the farming ourselves, they do the farming, they bring the skill, we provide them the technology, the implements, the seed, the input, and the guaranteed buyback. So the farmer takes the risk of something going wrong in agriculture, but then they
Hmm.
also keep the margin when something goes right. That's how contract farming works.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So the opportunities are immense. The opportunities are immense primarily because Africa is food short. Every country in Africa is importing food. So for me, it's a
Mhm.
no brainer. Anybody who can do sensible, commercially viable farming should do farming. There is an opportunity for all of us.
I guess what she was also asking is like, so African improved foods, for example, are you open to getting contract farmers or
In Rwanda,
any other
yes.
like in Rwanda?
In
Yes,
Rwanda,
yeah,
yes.
just in Rwanda. Okay,
Yeah.
and 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 any other players you know across Africa that are very keen on contract farmers? Maybe I guess that's they're asking for maybe some names of people. I don't know.
She should ask ChatGPT.
That's
There are enough.
ChatGPT. They're
Yeah.
enough. Okay, wonderful, wonderful. Pauline, there you go. Esther is asking, is there any time that you're unable to buy the maize from the farmers you work with? Is there
Is
any
there any
time you are unable to buy the maize from the farmers you work with? You work
the
with.
only time, yeah, the only time we are unable to buy maize from the farmers is when we are, overstocked on our requirement. We need 65,000 tons. When we are done with that, we stop buying them and we normally roll it. But then our planning is so good across the year that it's very rare that a farmer has a crop and we are not buying it. And we are
Mm.
also good enough partners to sometimes say we'll buy it up and stock it for you and you take the money and get released and start again. Do you follow me?
Wow. Yes, yes.
Many times we do that. Last year, 2024, in the first quarter, we did that because the crop came early and the crop was good. So we bought up. We didn't need as much, but we bought up. So our capital got stuck in the silos. But
Mhm.
we are committed to our partners. So we told our farmers,
Wow.
you release your crop, go back to the farm, take rest, and restart.
Wow.
Yeah.
Interesting. Kairat Bello is asking, is there an opportunity to partner with you? So I guess as a contract farmer, he's already
Yes.
answered that in Rwanda, but in Rwanda, guys, in
Yeah, yeah,
Rwanda.
yeah. Yeah, yeah. Let him come and meet our office in Kigali and we can discuss.
Okay. Esther Kimani, how do you identify the right people to work with? And how do you manage the system? So I guess how do you identify the farmers?
Yeah.
How do you go about the selection process and all that? Yeah.
Yeah. There's no short answer to that. The farmer is as good as the farm that he's holding, and most of the farmers are organized under cooperatives. So, discussion with the cooperative, understanding which of these farmers in the cooperative will be willing to work for us. And we are not
Mhm.
seeking exclusivity. All we are saying is we want a certain commitment from a cooperative to us. So, if you're a member of the cooperative, you will tell the cooperative that I can offer 6 tons this crop. And we are willing to sign up to say, okay, that's 6 tons, we will take it. Okay. Then it has to meet
Mhm.
quality specs. And we are willing to guarantee a higher price than the market because we want
Mm.
better quality. Okay.
Sure.
So it's a it's
Yeah.
it's a pretty easy process. And because Rwanda is so well organized and
Mhm.
organized under cooperatives, it's a lot easier. Even Tanzania is
Mhm.
very well organized like that because of the cooperatives.
Yes. Mhm. So you work with the cooperatives to get to the
Yes,
farmers, or are there some
that's
farmers
right.
you work with directly?
Very few, but in Rwanda, almost no farmers are outside the cooperative. They're all happy to be in a
Very
cooperative
interesting. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a very organized system and it
Very
works very
interesting.
well. Do you remember, do you know that the government of Rwanda gives so much support to cooperatives for
Yeah.
irrigation, for farming equipment, for
Yeah. Yeah.
tractors? So it makes good sense to be in a cooperative.
Wow. In Kenya, it's so disaggregated. I mean,
Like
it's
most
not
things in
possible.
Kenya. So don't
Yes.
compare Rwanda with any country. That's the difference.
Yeah, that's a
I
different.
worked across Africa. It's tough to
Yes.
compete with Rwanda.
Wow, amazing. And it goes to your point. You said something about where government comes in policy. I saw what you said when you did the whole ecosystem that government has a role to play. Very interesting. Karen is asking, you've spoken about wastage being a major problem in food production. This is evident in the markets, especially vegetables, fruit markets, and so forth. Apart from biofuel, and probably dehydration of these vegetables. In your opinion, how else can we address this issue effectively?
Next opportunity in fresh produce like vegetables and fruits is in setting up cold chains. Okay, the most successful method of creating value for vegetables, fruits, dairy is cold chains. So if you are willing to find an investor for cold chains, and there are enough people willing to put up that kind of capital, largely developmental capital, because they recognize that farmers who produce these kind of products are helpless. Within 24 to 48 hours, the produce gets spoiled and there is nobody to
Mhm.
support them. So putting up cold chain is a big activity in Africa right now. There have been enough successful examples of setting up very
Mhm.
successful cold chains across Africa. Kenya is a very good example of how the dairy cold chain came together. So, putting up a cold chain is the best way to preserve value here. You know, vegetables and fruits are better processed and sold than sold as a whole. So, the
Yeah,
cold chain starts that process and then setting up a small processing unit and then being able to sell into the ingredients industry in the country. And Kenya has a
that's
very
true.
large food sector, so it can be easy in Kenya. In large countries like Kenya, Nigeria, etc., it's far easier to sell.
Wow. Very, Karen, I hope he's answered your question. Thank you, Karen. She's a very strong entrepreneur. Thank you, Karen. Very nice questions. Thank you. Thank you. Elizabeth Gishu is asking, I buy excess mangoes from farmers so that the excess mangoes do not go to waste. Then I take them to the market. But still, a lot is wasted. How can you assist to reduce wastage? I think you've answered the same question, but she's in the mango value chain. Do you want to add anything, or the refrigeration is still the answer?
Refrigeration is one way. The other is to add to process,
Yes,
convert that
process.
mango into mango pulp.
Mm-hmm.
Convert that mango into mango pulp. Within 24 hours of the arrival of the mango, it should become pulp. When you
Mm-hmm.
can the pulp or bottle the pulp, and then you can sell it forever, the lifespan changes drastically.
Mm-hmm.
And the ingredient
Interesting.
industry, the juice industry, the food industry will buy it off. You can even export it.
Yeah, just a pulp, guys. Just a
Yeah,
pulp. Can you imagine? Don't
just
even have to
pulp.
do the juice. Just the
Yeah,
pulp. Yeah, it's used in ice cream. It's used in many things. Yeah,
yeah.
so it's amazing how the ingredient industry has a lot of demand. And we'll go back to your demand. I really loved the demand, the wheat. It was so insightful. We'll go back to it in case someone missed it. Elizabeth Gishu is asking me, oh yeah, we also sell cereal green grams. Yeah, so any leads or any market leads for green grams, cereals, and all that, that on your end, not really, none at your end. Okay. Stephen Gisha is asking, I fully concur with Ramesh on the importance of regulating and empowering small scale farmers to produce quality output. Having worked at Githunguri Dairy, I've seen firsthand how this is possible. The cooperative successfully supported and regulated over 20,000 small-scale smallholder farmers consistently deliver quality milk, largely through value addition and structured support systems. The model works, and the impact on the community is truly transformational. So it's just truly just giving the just supporting what you said. Like your comment on these are just comments. Okay, so Sasa Solutions is talking about the small scale farmers. They have a digital platform. So guys, yeah, a lot of comments, not questions here. So Esther is saying if you have good agricultural practices, good cash flow, commercial banks will fund your agribusiness through loans. some cases you may be, yeah. So in Kenya, I know there's been a lot of efforts towards funding agricultural businesses in Kenya and so forth. We are not in Rwanda, but if there are other ways to connect with you and so forth,
Yes,
guys,
absolutely.
yeah,
Please reach out to me.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. Ramesh is very willing to give. He's very willing to give information. It's quite interesting. So, guys, I don't think there are any more questions. Maybe we can. A lot of this is comments. We can go back to the slide. Let me see my time check. I have about 5 minutes. The
Please.
slide on opportunities, guys. I really loved it. It was almost your second, third slide. I was going to rewatch it where you talked about wheat. It was so insightful. Maybe you can go back to it. The opportunities. In case you missed it, guys, I'm just taking advantage of the time. The third slide, slide number 3. Slide number 3. And guys, I see people joining now. If you come from Malawi, Zimbabwe, please note it's always you guys are 1 hour behind. So it's always 11 a.m. EAT, East African time, not Kenyan, not South African time. Yeah, not yeah. So this it's
Good.
the third slide, number 3. You really explained. I found it so insightful on the wheat. Slide number 3, literally
Yeah.
your third, yeah, that one, yeah. Oh
Yeah.
yes, food importers, where we can do import substitution. It was so insightful that maybe you can repeat everything you were saying
Yeah.
around this. It was so insightful.
So if you look at these are the big 5 economies of Africa, and if you look at the primary import that all of them have, right? Look at wheat. It consistently appears all over. I talked about the fact that wheat is a food habit that our colonial masters taught us. It's not something that's indigenous to Africa. And it contains gluten. It is the most expensive of the imports that we conduct. About $20 billion worth of wheat is what Africa imports out of the 110 billion. So 1/5 of the African import is wheat. And it's at the pinnacle of food. The most expensive food that we eat is bread. And all this wheat converts only into bread. There's no other form it's eaten in, right? Rice and maize, etc., is eaten in a variety of forms, but wheat is eaten only in the form of bread. So we pay
Mhm.
all this money, we spend all this foreign currency, we spend all this extra dollars to buy the wheat from overseas. And that is only increasing because of a habit that we have less than 100 years old. My theory,
Mhm.
therefore, is that we should start eating what we grow. There are so many grains, food grains in Africa that we ignore. So millet is one. Globally, millet is recognized as a superfood. Then there is fonio. Many of you in West Africa will recognize fonio. Then there is teff, which is something that's grown in Ethiopia, and now in many other parts of the world, teff is being grown.
Mhm.
All of
Mhm.
these are local grains that we can grow locally and we can substitute for wheat. We can start eating bread made by some of these grains rather than importing wheat and eating it. And you'll release foreign currency, you'll change the affordability of food for people, and of course, health factor. So, from my
Wow.
point of view, this wheat being replaced will be a big, big, big addition to African health and African purses.
Wow. Interesting. There's been so much insight shared. So if you're joining in late, you have to go and rewatch it. I'll definitely rewatch. There was a lot of data. It was quite a lot. So our team will put the YouTube link. It will all be available on YouTube. Share it with your friends, especially on the opportunity side. There's a lot of opportunities for us to plug in. Adiola is asking from Nigeria is, please, can you give us a way to preserve fresh sweet potatoes from decadence? Is there a way to
So,
preserve fresh sweet potatoes?
yes, yes, sweet potatoes over the last decade has picked up significantly in favor of potatoes. So, converting sweet potatoes either into puree or into chips, which is dried and therefore easy to preserve, is a significant value add. You know, the
Mhm.
price of selling a sweet potato versus price of selling sweet potato chips is approximately 10 times. Okay, that experiment has been done in South Africa already. And lots of supermarkets in South Africa carry sweet potato chips instead of potato chips or vegetable chips instead of potato chips. So the idea being that the transition from pure carb potato to sweet potato and to less harmful carbs is the health trend. And if you're growing sweet potato, there's a great opportunity for you by either preserving it, dehydrating it, or converting that into chips. So having a small processing unit for sweet potatoes makes good sense.
Mm-hmm. Adiola, I hope he answers you. I hope he has answered you. In case you have a follow-up question, please keep asking. Yeah, you're representing Armstrong Multi Services Limited from Nigeria. You're very welcome. Can we get this presentation? It's on our YouTube. You guys have asked that. I will put the YouTube link. The team has put the YouTube link. Yes, guys are saying I will rewatch it. I agree. I'll also have to rewatch. Ramesh, you had so much data. We were trying to understand. Maybe you can repeat one of the ones that was a light bulb to you as a parting shot. The one that was, I know it was so interesting. We'll have to rewatch all of us. But I see you're putting Africa agricultural paradox. So which one was really? I know there were so many. I really picked the wheat one. Yeah, but anything you want to give as a parting shot,
Yeah. I think
the African
if
pear, whatever. Yes.
yeah, I think if you take this away as SMEs, there is
Mm-hmm.
1.1 billion Africans waiting as an opportunity to be taken care of. I was speaking to somebody in the last few days about the fact that all the multinationals, all
Mm-hmm.
of them, Unilever, Nestle, done only cater for the top 10 million or 100 million. Nobody looks at this 700 million people and the 400 million people. So we being locally tuned, locally available, and processing locally for the local markets should cater to this 700 million people. That's where the bulk of the African opportunity sits. Anybody who caters for this 700 million people and the 400 million people is likely to win, is my view,
Mm-hmm.
because it's a completely underserved market. You know what?
Mm-hmm.
Any of you walk into the heartland of Africa, go to the 10 spots that are
Mm-hmm.
completely landlocked. So Goma is one option. North
Mm-hmm.
Zambia is an option. The
Mm-hmm.
intersection of Botswana and Zimbabwe is an option. On the
Mm-hmm.
northern side, go to the Nigeria border. Go to the Burkina Faso Mali border.
Mm-hmm.
All those places are full of people who comprise the 700 million people.
Wow.
Nobody is serving them.
Wow.
Okay. The
Mm-hmm.
other paradox you must remember is that in most parts of the world,
Ramesh, I don't know whether we've lost you there. Can you hear me, guys? Or is it my internet?
for example,
Yvette, can.
there are parts
Mm.
of Africa where one. Hello. Yeah. Can you hear me now?
Now we can hear you. Yes. We
Yeah.
lost you
Sorry.
at some
Sorry. Yeah. I
point.
was
Yeah.
saying, yeah. There are parts of Africa where 1 teaspoon of sugar is sold in a little sachet
Mm-hmm.
because that's
Mm-hmm.
affordability of people. Those are the people
Mm-hmm.
who comprise the 700 million.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. The
Mm-hmm.
issue, though, is that that 1 teaspoon of sugar that is sachet wrapped
Mm-hmm.
is 4 times more expensive than 1 kilo of sugar.
Mm-hmm.
So the
Mm-hmm.
poorest man is paying the highest price because his affordability is the challenge.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Can we service those people, one, for their benefit, and two, there is still a large profit margin available?
Wow.
Are you with me?
100%. I'm with you.
Yeah.
Yes, I'm internalizing. Amazing, guys. Amazing. Basically, there's opportunity. Amazing. Amazing. Uh, I think your assignment for all of us is to go and rewatch, share with other SMEs, look at the data and see where you will play. Opportunities are everywhere. And this is why we put this business leaders webinar series for opportunities. Very interesting. And thank you so much, Ramesh. I know you're very busy, very, very busy. Thank you so much for making time. I truly, truly appreciate and for impacting us. Amazing, amazing. I really,
Great.
really appreciate. Yeah, really appreciate. I see it's 2 minutes to the time we
Yeah.
agreed. I'll let you leave. Guys, you can appreciate Ramesh on the chat. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Really appreciate it. For the rest of us,
Thank
feel
you
free
so
to plug
much.
in to the SME Support Center. We have this every 2 weeks. The next one is likely to be first week of August, where we bring speakers and we meet and we learn and we explore opportunities. Thank you so much. Thank you, Ramesh. If
Thank
you
you.
want to get into, yeah, it was very helpful. I agree. Adiola, Amanda, all of you. Thank you for joining from Malawi, Zimbabwe, guys. But you have to note, you guys are 1 hour behind. Yeah, so we are 1 hour ahead, EAT. So you guys, some of you join at midday. So it is 11 a.m. East African time. Yeah. Yeah, great insight. Yeah, I agree, guys. I agree. You and I am going to watch it again. Thank you so much, Ramesh. We really appreciate every
Great.
2 weeks we bring business leaders. Thank you.
Fantastic.
Thank you so much. Thank you so
Thank you,
much.
guys. Thank you very much. All the
Yeah,
best.
thank you so much. Thank you so much. Yeah, thank you. Thank you so much. So, guys, you're free to leave. It is exactly, we start and end on time at SSC. Everything we start and end. Karen is saying, bring him back. Yeah, very insightful. Yeah, I feel like we needed to go through the data, but please, that's why we have YouTube. Go through it yourself
Yeah.
in your silent time. Yeah, yeah. The data was quite interesting and intense. Yeah, quite interesting.
Mm.
Yeah, guys,
Excellent.
thank
Excellent. I'm
thank
glad
you
it
so much.
helps.
Yeah,
So
thank
all
you
the
for
best.
joining. Yeah,
Yeah, enjoy the presentation and we'll
thank
be
you.
in touch. Thank you, Linda. Thank
Wonderful.
you for the opportunity.
Oh,
Cheers.
thank you too. Thank you so much. Guys, the YouTube channel has been put there. Temitope, yes. Every 2 weeks we convene in Africa. So spread the word. Spread the word in your channels, in your groups every 2 weeks. Let's get as many people to join. Every 2 weeks, I try and bring business people to come and we meet and we sell. We meet each other also. You sell at your own discretion. You do your own due diligence. Okay, you do your own due diligence. Thank you so much. You're free to leave. Our team will put our contacts. If you're not registered at the center, this is how you hear the information. Team, please put the stuff at the center. Please put the registration link for the center. Please put it there. Yeah, registration link. Guys, help me put the registration link. If someone is not on our email address, put the YouTube channel, put the Blue Pages site. We have so much, guys. We have so much. So you just plug in, put our WhatsApp channel in case you just want to join our WhatsApp channel. All that the team will put on the chat and you can plug in. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, guys. It's been such a pleasure to host you and see everyone from across Africa. Ethiopia, I saw Philip Wind. I saw a lot of people from everywhere I have been. So thank you so much. Our WhatsApp channel, in case you just want to find out where the topics, follow our WhatsApp channel. It is all there. You're very much welcome. You're very much welcome. Thank you so much, guys. Thank you so much. Really, really appreciate. Charles Karaoke, great to see you. Great to see you all. Great to see you all. And we are free to leave. It's 31 past. We are all free to leave. Thank you so much.